Alright guys, finally, I have been waiting all week to do a garden tour. And it rained this morning, a little bit last night, but the wind is not blowing. So it's a little wet out, but I should be able to do a pretty good garden tour in between rain showers. So let's get after it. Well, this isn't part of the garden, but who could resist? I'll start out the tour right here in the backyard. This is the orchard, and it's looking really good. There's something super special about it that I already enjoyed before I started shooting. But check it out. Ripe cherries. Just a few cherries on there, but enough to enjoy some snacking, that's for sure. I beat my brother to him, so he better get his butt out here. All the rest of the trees are looking pretty good. Nothing overly concerning on any of them. This guy looks like he's a little off kilter. I don't want to have to stake it, but I might have to. Another apple tree that I picked up on clearance. So there's probably a couple more trees here than the last time we went through here. So I picked up, this is a Macintosh apple tree and Fuji, and I picked those up at Orscheln's. They were like 40% off or something when I got the cattle panel. These are the last ones, the most recent ones that I planted. This one had lots of dead on it, so I trimmed that off. So hopefully that was the right thing to do. Other than that, looks pretty healthy. And then over here is the Fuji that we got. And then we've got the two pear trees, the cherry, the Arkansas Black over there by Blitz, and then the really small Fuji that is actually showing some growth now. So we were worried about this thing because it wasn't doing a darn thing, but it's actually showing some signs of life now. This is the Jerusalem artichokes that we planted earlier this spring. It's a root harvest, but these should grow up and look like basically like miniature sunflowers. I'm really excited to have those here. I planted those in the pot because I guess they just take over, cannot be destroyed once they get going. So they're just in this big pot that I had laying around, and uh-oh. What are you doing? Yeah, we've got a little bit of a problem with our fence, and that little tiny baby girls can sneak out. I don't think having a goat with me on the garden tour is a very good idea. You can't come out on garden tours, baby girl. No, no, no. Little goats can't go on garden tours. I feel like that's a bad idea. Yeah, goats should not be welcome in the garden. There you go. Stay in there. Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, now that we're over here by the garden, go ahead and just do a quick look through. You guys have all seen these, but everybody's looking pretty healthy. No issues there. I went ahead and planted some beans here. That was just a few days ago, so they haven't sprouted yet. I threw a cucumber in here that I had kind of extra. There's not much dirt in here. I don't know how it'll do. And then I put the June-bearing strawberry in here. I think there were 4 plants here maybe. So they're showing definitely some signs of life. This one might actually end up doing better than the other strawberry, and I'll show you why when we get over there. I've been using the comfrey, trimming it back, feeding a lot of it to the rabbits, the goats, and the chickens. Just a little bit is good for them. You don't want to go crazy on it, but a little bit is very good for them. All right, let's go ahead and go into the garden. But the first thing I want to show you is this awesome sign that Melissa made for me. I think it's awesome. It's like a warning sign for the garden. Other things that we've got going. So these are the discount clearance roses that I got from Walmart. So this one has really taken off, and it looks really good. This one over here, however, is not doing a darn thing. It had green on it when I planted it right here, but that seems to have died off. I'm not going to do anything with it because, like I've said many times, I have been surprised here. These beans actually are one of those surprises. So we put this trellis up, and we didn't really know what we were going to plant on it, but we thought it would look cool to have something planted. And my brother had a few pole beans left. These are really old seeds. And so he just threw them in the ground kind of for shits and giggles, and they took off, and they actually looked better than the bush beans that he planted more on purpose. Compost pile's looking good. I have started taking the time to rake up some of my grass clippings when I get done mowing. Usually it looks like I could bale it when I get done mowing, and I've been adding that to my compost, trying to layer it with the brown, then some grass clippings, like some straw, then grass clippings, that sort of thing. And then, of course, I still put all my kitchen scraps in there, too. So these are the strawberries. They've done better than they've done in the past. But this is actually a newer plant. You can see they're really small. And when we do get a fruit, it's pretty small, kind of mushy. What we determined after speaking with someone at the farmer's market, actually, is strawberries like to be up. And so these guys probably aren't getting enough airflow, maybe not even enough sun. So I started trying to trim back my tire, but my darn Sawzall and my saw, it's a lot of work for a little battery operated one. So I didn't get too far with that. But I think next year we'll put a little more dirt in and get these guys raised up so they get more airflow and more sun. So here's a good example of why you put mint in a separate container. Or I should say that you contain it. Because this plant, I mean, it was healthy, but it was not this big when we planted it. And now look at that thing. And this one is a smaller tire, but it's still definitely taking over. So these are spearmint and peppermint plants. This may be a whole lot of nothing. We started lavender inside, and we didn't get it planted out here soon enough, and some of it started to die off, and we may not have got it in here soon enough. That obviously looks very dead, but again, just leaving it. Who knows? It might come back next year. We'll just see what it does. But the chamomile looks really good and healthy. This was also started inside. So I've never done chamomile. I've never done lavender. So this is stuff Melissa planted. So we'll see how they do. And then this is her basil. And toadstools, apparently. Haven't seen those in the garden before. So this is her purple basil that she just started as well. And of course, the cilantro is still looking healthy. You can see where I harvested a little bit last night. I mowed off where the radishes were, and I'm trying to solarize the grass here so maybe I can get something else planted. Travis's poor onions, getting ready to go to seed there. Not sure if they'll do anything. The dill is definitely go to seed. So dill's another thing that will absolutely take over. We've talked about we might actually have to transplant this basil, move it somewhere else, because the dill will probably just take over. But this basil's super healthy. This is another one we started inside a lot earlier than other stuff. Oh, look at this booger. Oh gosh. Lots of boogers. Might have to tell me what those are. I'll have to look that up. See if they're friendly boogers or not friendly boogers. Look that up promptly. Look at all of them. I think those are just butterflies. My peas are looking really good. The great thing about these peas, fortunately, is you can pick them when they're like this and just straight up eat them, like shell and all. And it's really, really good. Or you can pick them when they're like this and actually shell them. It's a lot more difficult, but you can eat the peas right out of it, and they're still really good. I had them in a salad both ways last night. Very tasty. I don't mind the harder shell, but some people do. My arugula has gone to seed, and I'm going to try to save seeds this year. I've never done it before. I've never saved seeds before on anything, so it'll be a new exercise, and I'll be looking to do a lot of research here very soon. This is a radish that I was trying to let go to seed as well. I'll give it some more time. Oh, there's some. Yeah, you can see that. There are my seed pods right there. So I'll let that one hang out for a while. Oh yeah, lots of them down here. And then I've got some beets that are coming right along. But yeah, they're looking good for what they are. Like I said, old seeds. Man, these peas are so good. Look at all them. They are just going crazy. This broccoli looks awesome, and I'm thinking I'll probably harvest some of it this weekend, and then we will enjoy that. Melissa doesn't like broccoli, so hopefully my brother is willing to partake in this harvest as well. I like broccoli, not my favorite thing, but when it comes from stuff in the garden, I just chop it all up and put it in a massive salad, like everything but the kitchen sink salad. The peas, the kale, Swiss chard, lettuce, whatever I can get my hands on goes into a giant bowl, and that is my salad, and it's awesome. Looks like my potatoes may be starting to die off a little. I accidentally dug one up. You can kind of see little tater right there. So hopefully that's a good sign, and we'll have a decent potato harvest. In the past with our potatoes, we haven't had very good luck. I don't know if we weren't feeding them enough. This year I fed them, like gave them a lot of fertilizer. But in the past we've had where the tops look super healthy, everything looks great, and then we dig them up and there's like nothing. So hopefully this year things are looking really good. Chickens are all sorts of wound up over there. Luna's eating corn. Like, it scares me every time I see Luna eating something. I think, oh no, she got a hold of a chicken or a rabbit. Most of the time, it is corn or something that she stole from the cats, like a mouse. Speaking of cats, can you see up there? Blitz is on top of the coop. Belle is obsessing over the baby goat. And then there's a little bit, just chilling. Peppers are looking very good as well. Check this out. I wish I could tell you what kind it is. I think I'll look, because I think I know what that is. Because it's mostly what I planted, which was basically a green bell pepper. But I'll look that up. These are some that I got from a friend of mine. That's a shishito that I bought. The shishito, it's got a little baby on it. And this is one my brother picked up. They're calling it a sport pepper. Eggplants. This is an experiment, planting eggplants with peppers. Hopefully it goes well. I think these might be my brother's jalapenos. This does not belong here. Sorry, buddy. So here's Travis's bush beans, and I'm not exactly sure. I know he said he planted 3 different varieties. You can see they have got ate up. And I got some neem oil. I've never used neem oil, but I know it's, an organic pesticide. And I was going to try that, but then of course it was going to rain, so I didn't want to mess with it. Just have it wash off in the rain. They're coming along. They got ate up, but it looks like they're kind of bouncing back. Whew, except for over here. Let's see. Yeah, there's signs of life there. They'll be alright. We'll probably get a few out of there. Update on my weed barrier experiment. It seems to be working really well. Hey, Blitz. I just make sure I stay on top of watering this stuff because this is not water permeable, which is both good and bad. The holes are pretty good size, so they still get some water in them, but it does do a pretty good job of keeping the weeds down. The only ones that I'm really having creep through are those stupid vines, but everything else seems to be dead. But yeah, this is the okra, and I've never planted okra before, but I do have a few. You can see little baby okras, and I'll bring you in close for that. But from what I understand, okra is super prolific. Once it gets going, it'll go like crazy. The reason I bought it was because I started these from seed, but this was right when COVID was hitting the fan, and everybody's panicked about food and everything. And I saw a post that if you're looking for food security, okra is the way to go. So that's why I went ahead and bought it. I like okra. There's several different ways you can cook it. I've had it pickled, and I really like that. I've also had fried okra, and I like that. So hopefully my family can get on the okra bandwagon. There's the baby okra. And Blitz, for crying out loud. There's the lettuce. You can see I've been harvesting it. It is starting to get a little bitter and milky. It doesn't bother me. Like I said, I put so much stuff in my salad that it doesn't bother me at all to have it a little bit bitter. But for those that it would bother, you can tell it's getting a little on the hairy side there. Still good for me. The Swiss chard. And this is the Chinese cabbage. And it got ate up like crazy. Like, I haven't even ate any of it yet. And it was just getting annihilated. So last night, I trimmed back some of the ate up leaves because I can see some of the new growth coming in. And maybe whatever it was that was destroying it is just an early season thing. But you can see it's getting pretty hairy too. Carrots are still happening. They have not died. I may actually harvest some carrots this year. Tomatillo is coming along. Some blossoms on it. Maybe even, yep, a little bit of fruit happening there. Now for my favorite part of the garden, and that is the tomatoes. Man, they look good. I need to get out here and prune these guys because I can already see I've got some more suckers again. But the tomatoes are looking really good. Everybody's looking healthy. I've got fruit on several already. Even this one that was looking really unhealthy early on, it's bouncing back. It looks super strong. They really like that drink that they got. Yeah, they are looking awesome. You can see, look at this sucker. Yeah, that's awesome. This is one of the cherries that I planted. I did plant a few cherry tomatoes this year. I don't usually plant cherry tomatoes, but I planted them for the same reason that I planted the okra. They produce a lot, and they produce early on. So with the food supply kind of shaky and things may be short, I thought I better get after it and get as much as I can. So there's another cherry. And another cherry. Yeah, I planted a lot of them. I kind of lost track of everything I planted, but yeah, lots of those. Here's one I can actually tell you what it is. Cherokee purple. I don't see any signs of purple yet, but it's still early on. And that'll get a little darker. This is one of Travis's 50-cent tomatoes. I think it's called a Rapunzel. So he got these two plants, this one and this one, for 50 cents each. Yeah, Rapunzel. So it's a cherry. Here's another cherry and a Blitz. Hi, BB. Man, I'm going to have a lot of cherries. Whew, I'm kind of Kind of regretting that decision a little bit already. There's another purchased one. Oh, Caspian Pink that Travis picked up. I think this is another cherry that Travis picked up. And this is another purchased one. It is looking really good. Oh, it's got some curled leaves here, but look at that fruit. Oh, this is an early. It's called an Independence Day. Could be an early girl, that sort of thing. So we'll have this one pretty quick. Now, check this out. Not the cat. This is crookneck squash, and it's doing really awesome. The thing about squash, in my experience, is early on, you're like, heck yeah, check out all my squash. This is going to be awesome. And then bugs attack and wipe out your squash. It looks like crap. So you really have to stay on top of the pesticides. I picked up that neem oil. I've also can dust them. We have used 7 in the past, and we're not trying to say we're all organic, but we try when we can. So if I want these to keep looking as awesome as they do, I'm going to have to stay on top of the pesticide, because once those bugs show up, they'll just wipe you out. This is a patty pan squash that I have never, Blitz, seriously, dude? I've never planted this before, but you can see some fruit on there. Looking really good. Cucumbers. Cucumbers are looking healthy. Hopefully they'll start vining up this trellis. I kind of pulled it over. These down here are ones that I started from seed inside. And then these are all ones that were direct sown. Hi, babies. Got some watermelon going. Lots of watermelon. Melissa likes watermelon, so she went crazy. We started these inside. I don't think any of the watermelon was direct sown. These pallets are an experiment, as are most things out here, but they're really light pallets, and we planted everything so close together that I'm really worried that with the watermelon and the squash, like, they're just going to start running into each other. Like, it will be a jungle out here. So I put the pallets out in hopes that it might take some of them vertically, so it's not quite such a cluster on the ground. We'll see how it works. I don't have my hopes up a lot. You know, watermelon obviously is a big fruit, so we might have to support it as it starts fruiting, but we'll just see how it goes. If it can direct a little bit of that vertically, some of that growth, that'd be nice, so we're not trampling through a jungle here, but I think a jungle might be inevitable. This is another experiment that I actually got the idea from one of my brother's friends. They did a soaker hose, and I've done soaker hose in the past, but I just hooked it right up to my hydrant, and like, I didn't really notice any bang for my buck there. But they said they hook it up to a barrel and just let it run real slow, without like forcing it, and you get more bang for your buck with the soaker hose. Soaker hose obviously is slow. So I tried it yesterday just to see if it would work. It was watering. I didn't watch it all day to see how it did. I just now turned it off, so this probably got a little bit more than the rest of the beds with the rain. So I'll keep messing with it. If it works good, I've got more barrels, so I might set up some more and run some more soaker hose down. Out. Luna, out. So here we have some zucchini. Look at that. Heck yeah. Sorry, I am excited. I haven't had zucchini in a long time. Another squash. This is a crookneck, and it's looking really good. I think this may actually be a cucumber, kind of looking cucumbery to me. I think I said this before, but this year was crazy. I was not planning on really doing a big garden. COVID hit. I threw some stuff in containers. I didn't even label them. I was just like, crap, I need to plant something. Which, let's be honest, I probably would have done anyway, even without COVID, but it hit the panic button. I threw stuff in pots. I didn't label it. You know, you guys are probably better at this than me, but cucumber leaves and squash leaves, they kind of look alike. So some of the stuff that I really didn't know what it was ended up over here with the squash. That's okay. It'll do fine. It'll still produce food. It's not that big a deal. It's just not as organized as I would like it to be. Baby. Baby. This is another okra that I didn't have a spot for or didn't know what I wanted to do with. So he just ended up over here. And then some sweet potatoes. I still have some more sweet potato plants that I need to get in, but as you can see, I'm kind of at the end of my road here. Here's one of the corners of death. This is the mystery berry. I still think it's a blackberry, but it looks like we'll find out very soon. I have to be very careful over here because of that. This is the only place on my property that I have found poison ivy. I am super allergic to poison ivy. I already got a little bit this year. I was over here weeding, and in the thick of it, fortunately I had gloves on and just stopped and realized that I had got into the poison ivy. Within a couple of days, I had some blisters on my arms. Fortunately, they didn't spread this year, or it didn't spread this year on my arm, so I didn't have to go get a shot. But typically when I get poison ivy, it spreads so rapidly that I have to go get a steroid shot to take care of it. It is not fun. Do not recommend. Lilies may be blooming soon. I don't know about that one. This poor guy, I freaking mowed over like an idiot. I didn't realize I'd planted one in the corner. More poison ivy. Another corner of death that has some life in it. I've got my lilies. A grape that we thought was dead. Another grape that I knew wasn't dead. And then I planted some zinnias. I used the bag that comes with the fertilizer and the seeds and everything you need for zinnias. Now, I know that might be cheating, but I used it last year on Lily Spot, and I'll insert some pictures of the results, and it was awesome. Everything bloomed, I want to say like mid-July, and it was so freaking cool. So I went ahead and bought it again. I used it a little bit over here. I used it on Lily Spot again, and I can't wait to see the results. Hopefully it works as well as it did last year, because it was awesome. These are just tiger lilies, nothing special. You can, around here, they're usually growing on the side of the road. I dug these up from my brother-in-law's house and transplanted them over here. I guess I better include our little flower patch here. You can see these blooms are about ready to dry up, but some more coming in right behind it. A little lightning bug there. My clematis is taken off. Ooh, look at that. Might actually get a bloom out of it. How cool. And then there's two rose plants in here. This is the one, these red ones, is the one I almost killed. And I don't know how, because I treated this one and this one the same, but one almost died. Eventually, you guys will believe me on don't think things are dead. They may actually be alive. And I've got another example for you. You can see that I thought these were dead. I haven't weeded here. Like, I haven't done anything over here. Usually I mow this close, but I thought I saw something popping. I had planted them every year, and then I just didn't get around to it last year, and I thought for sure everything was dead because there were no signs of life. But this guy is popping up, and they will reproduce. So when I dig him up this year, there'll be more. So I'll be able to start another patch of them. Usually dig them up in October, so we'll kind of see how that does. I should probably weed around him. Look at this grape. Isn't that crazy? That's what happens when you give them a structure. This is a wild grape. Like I said, it's before it's been here the whole time. We just started kind of taking care of it, and it has gone crazy. Probably have to trim it back. This is our blueberry. We bought this as a full bush at Orchlands. We've actually got a few blueberries off of it. They're pretty tart. This is where we buried our little boy Blue. And this one's, I think the blooms are pretty much done on it. But we got another one over there. Got this little memorial for him and his light. And then still no signs of life on my dead blueberry sticks that I planted. And here is Lily's spot. You can see the lilac blooms have kind of died back. But look here. Zinnias. This is all from, I think, a wildflower pack that I threw out. So I did plant zinnias down here. I think that might be what these guys are. So we'll see how this turns out. I think it's going to look really awesome. My hosta bloomed. That one over there bloomed. I put this trim around here so I didn't have to worry about accidentally mowing over anything anymore. Yeah, I think it's going to look awesome very soon. As you can see, this apple tree has not had much attention. Any of you that actually prune your trees are probably like pulling your hair out right now. It has actually been trimmed a little bit from what it was. There used to be another apple tree right next to it. They were like this far apart. It was crazy. But every now and then we actually get apples off of it. So this apple tree does appear to be producing it. See that? We've got fruit. Why are you playing with the toad? Luna, leave the toad alone. This is my front yard garden. It is also doing very well. Hostas look good. It's a coral bell that I just planted this year. And then this I'm really excited about. This is an Asiatic lily. And last year when I planted it, it had a really pretty bloom on it. And then, I don't know if a dog or something came along and just topped it. There was nothing. And it looks like it's got several blooms this year. What is going on here? So, that concludes my garden tour for today. I hope you enjoyed it. You probably didn't learn much, but I hope you had a good time. I'm really excited to see the progress of this garden. I can already tell just looking at like the intro video and now like how much stuff has grown, and it gives me a lot more appreciation for what I've got going here. So hopefully it continues to be successful, and I hope you continue to follow along. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with all the happenings, keep up with these kitties and all the goats and everything. You can also check us out on Facebook at just Sycamore Ridge, and I just started an Instagram for the farm, so make sure you check that out too. But make sure, give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a good one.